you know what is the biggest contributor to global water pollution? Wastewater. We can convert the dirt in wastewater into clean energy using a Nobel Prize awarded technology in a new way. We call this zero-energy hydrothermal carbonization. Well, together we produce a lot of wastewater. UN estimate that we produce 6 times the amount of water that we have in all the rivers of the world. Leakage from wet waste deposits, as well as untreated wastewater, is constantly polluting our waters. So it's quite obvious that good wastewater management is important for healthy oceans, rivers, and clean groundwater. Wastewater management creates a residue, sludge. We contribute to this daily. And we produce totally about 300 million tons together in this world. And we pay about $13 billion annually to take care and dispose it. This is pretty nasty stuff. It's highly contaminated and contains large amounts of bacteria, viruses, medical compounds, heavy metals, and as it decomposes, it releases huge amounts of greenhouse gases, adding to global warming. But the sludge does not only contain bad stuff, it also contains energy and agricultural nutrients, most importantly phosphorus. Well, we can convert this sludge into biofuel, a clean fuel that can be used in a standard incinerating power plant. So let's say that you're a manager of a wastewater treatment plant. Let's say it's here in Savannah. You're probably going to produce a few 10,000s of sludge every year. Then you have the responsibility to get rid of this sludge in a controlled way. So what options do you have? Well, there are various ways to dispose sludge. And to each way there is an associated cost and an environmental impact. A big minus here would mean it's not a very good impact, and a plus, it's a good impact. And today, the most common way to get rid of sludge is either to use it as landfill or in agriculture after maybe half a year of compostation, so it's somewhat safe. The absolute safest way is to incinerate it, but it's also very costly. And in some countries in Europe, you're actually forced to incinerate it by law. That's the only alternative you have. Well, we have created a fourth alternative, one that actually is more cost efficient than the existing one and far more environmentally friendly. So what if I call you as a manager for this plant in Savannah and offered you this technology encapsulated in a container, and this container can treat the sludge from 200,000 people, and you will get it with no upfront investment. You pay for each treated ton, similar to you pay today to get rid of the sludge. And in this container, the sludge gets carbonized. It's a process that works in a way that happens naturally in nature, but it takes 1 million years when biological material gets transformed into lignite or hard coal. We do this in a reactor in 1 hour. And it was this discovery that awarded Friedrich Bergius the Nobel Prize 1931. In the reactor, the sludge also gets sterilized, hygienized, and medical compounds and organic toxins will be deactivated. Quite a fascinating thing. And we will be able to offer a lower cost of getting rid of the sludge, to offer this service at a lower price than today. And how come we can be so cost efficient? What's the secret sauce? Well, our container contains a technology with a series of inventions, making the unit self-heating. The incoming sludge has a consistency of wet porridge. And as it carbonizes in the reactor, it transforms to a more clay-like material. And out of the organic material in the incoming sludge, about 85% will transform in solid form. 15% will dissolve in the process water. If we have designed the reactors, we can extract a stream, a particle-lean stream of this process water that we actually can use to heat the process using a technology called wet oxidation. And this self-heating functionality, together with very efficient heat recovery, makes the process exceptionally efficient. And compared to other technologies to upgrade biomass, you can see here on the chart, we're far more efficient. So to upgrade sludge, for every energy unit we invest, we get 40 units back. And being very energy efficient is not only good for the environment, it also makes our operational costs low. And by designing a solution that we can fit in a container, we can produce this unit at one production site. And as the volumes go up, the price per unit will go down. So we will be able to offer a solution with a very low installation cost, a low capital cost, and a low operational cost. Our aim is to sell a service where we place our containers at the wastewater treatment plants and charge per treated ton. We will produce quite a bit of biofuel, and we will sell the biofuel to nearby power plants at a competitive price, creating two revenue streams for us for this operation. Well, the market, there is a lot of wastewater treatment plants, and we produce a lot of sludge. Globally, we see a market for about 15,000 units today. Here in North America, about 2,000. Our aim is to take care of the Nordic market in Europe by ourselves, but the rest of the market we want to conquer together with partners that help us with sales, service, and installations. And together with our partners, we want to grow. And we have long-term and ambitious goals. But the market is huge, and we have a really new solution that really makes a difference. Our aim is to, by 2030, to have delivered 4,000 units, generating a yearly revenue of about $5 billion, making us the #1 in wet waste conversion. But we cannot do this on our own. We need supporters, we need partners, we need you, we need financial backers, and most importantly, we need customers. We're proud to have EU as a financial backer, to have the pulp and paper giant in Europe, maybe the biggest sludge producer in Europe, Stora Enso, as our first customer, and OSDP, a Finnish, Italian stainless steel process equipment manufacturer, as a production partner, an OEM. It's OSDP that helped us build the pilot plant that you see here on the picture. Well, this can be used in the industrial world, but we also see that we can be of help in a world that today does not have wastewater treatment plants. where access to safe water is very difficult to find. I mean, there are very many places of the world where you do not have access to clean water. And there is places in the world where ecosystems are threatened due to pollutions. And as the countries in the developing world are building up new wastewater treatment plants to deal with this, we can be there and take care of the sludge. Our vision is to help both the industrial world and the developing countries to help clean their wet waste, to decrease the pollution that goes out into the water, and to make a planet cleaner. I believe that we have a very cost-efficient solution, the most energy efficient and environmentally friendly method for modern wet waste management. It's clean, it's easy to use, and it solves a problem that most of us really didn't know about. The team at Sea Grain that are working with this is a group of very experienced chemical process engineers that has worked several years or many years in the pulp and paper industry on similar projects with very big success. And it's me, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and 3 of the companies I previously started or co-founded are today making money. If we get this grant or this prize, we will use it for customer trials. We have several pulp mills, wastewater treatment plants, and also a alcohol producer that want to test their wet waste in our plant. And we want to use it also to continue to upgrade it, to improve it as we discover ways to do so. Well, thank you. That's pretty much what I had to say. I'm 2 minutes early.
Well, Eric, thank you for keeping us on time. That was great.
Thanks.
Questions?
Usually, wastewater treatment facilities are coupled with anaerobic digestion, as you know. I was wondering if your technology is after anaerobic digestion, after capturing the biogas, the remaining, or is it, are you offering or claiming that your technology should replace the anaerobic digestion technology?
Yes, our technology is used after anaerobic digestion, and it actually will increase the production of biogas. We will, the technology, the self-heating technology, where we oxidize a liquid stream, we will create a juice or a return water that actually is very good for the digestion. So we will actually be able to increase the biogas production at the plant. And we will also produce excess heat. So we'll decrease the heat cost at the wastewater treatment plants for the digestion and biogas production.
Over here, Chuck.
Yeah, so you sort of answered this just a moment ago, but you know, you have a wet waste and something dry, biofuel comes out. So you have other waste streams. Do you have good information about those waste streams, and do they just go back into the process? Secondly, have you tested a number of different types of waste to kind of know whether your system is robust to different kinds of input? I'm
not 100% understood the first questions, but our container will, incoming we have sludge, and we will have clean water, and then we will have a return water going back that will go back into digestion and will contain a substance that is very easily biodegradable. And we have tested with different types of municipal sludge, both before digestion and after. And we have tested with different kinds of sludge from pulp mills, both fiber sludge, chemical sludge, and biosludge. And it works very well. But the parameters we use in reactor are a little different.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Jane, you're next.
So I would like to hear more about the quotes, deactivation, that was your term, of meds, because between licit meds and illicit meds in the waste supply, in the waste stream now, there's a great deal of concern about this, especially because current wastewater treatment plants can't filter what we're seeing in the waste stream. So how are you going to filter it? And I'd like to know, as part B of that question, if it doesn't get filtered entirely or the meds don't get destroyed entirely and they go into a product that's going to be burned, are we going to find metformin in the atmosphere and things like that?
What happens in the reactor, the actual process is a high we treat the sludge in high temperature and under high pressure. And it's such high temperature and high pressure so that the molecules get cut. And therefore, the outgoing material is chemically going to be different than the incoming. So the medical compounds are going to be deactivated. It's not going to be the same molecules there. And we have done analysis before and after, and they're almost gone, all of them, the medical compounds. So they will not be an issue after the process at all.
I think we're next over here.
I have a question about energy return on investment. Wastewater treatment is energy intensive, that's why we pay for it. So what I want to know, after you add your process, what is the energy return on investment and how significantly do you improve it when you create the biochar?
Very good questions, and I don't think I have the complete answer on that one. I think we need to do further analysis. What we have looked into is let's say impact on greenhouse gases. And since our the process of decomposition, creating methane and other greenhouse gases, are completely stopped, that will diminish completely. And since the produced biocoal can be used to replace fossil fuel in power plants, that could be added to the energy balance and decrease the total energy cost in a life cycle way for treating the sludge. But I don't have any exact figures on the improvements.
Over here, you got one?
We'll kind of expand on that topic. Today, you show your graph that your biofuel can replace a fuel in the conventional power plant. In the traditional biomass type space, any biomass today is less energy efficient than traditional, even coal. You need additional cost of transporting, storing, because it's a wet component. You have to retrofit power plant to adjust to the biofuels. Have you looked at the economics of replacing truly a conventional fuel with your biomass, and how much more you have to spend to upgrade core power plants to even use your biofuel, or what's basically the implication on that level?
The dryness of the biofuel that we produce will be about 75%. So it will be a very dry, high energy fuel that it's easy to handle. And the energy amount created from a wastewater treatment plant is not going to be huge. So it will be a complementary fuel, maybe 1 or 2% of the fuel in a boiler, and it can easily be blended into the existing fuel, whether it's lignite, hard coal, or some kind of biomass. And since it's so dry, it's not going to be very difficult.
Right here.
My question is about toxic metals and heavy metals and the fate of those metals in your process. If they leave the container with the biofuel, then they're combusted in the power plant. And since they're more concentrated in your biofuel than even in coal, then their impact is more concentrated when the biofuel is burned. If they leave your container, well, if you use a flocculant or if you precipitate them, then they would have to leave in a sludge. So would you please address the fate of heavy metals and toxics?
Well, most organic toxins will be destroyed in the process. The heavy metals, they will follow in with the fuel. And either when we incinerate it, it will remain in the ashes. And in modern power plants, there are ways to take care of the ashes that are far safer than if you put the sludge on farmlands or in deposits of different landfills of different kinds. So we find it's a lot safer. But it will be taken care of either by taking care of the ashes at the power plants, or if we extract the phosphorus, because we have done trials of that and been able to extract up to 90% of the phosphorus after our HTC process. And then when we extract the phosphorus, we're also able to extract quite a bit of the heavy metals. And then we can take care of it in a second step there. So that's the two alternatives that we see.
Eric, over here.
Hi. At what scale have you demonstrated this technology?
Right now, it's a 1 ton per day scale. And our aim is in the next level, do it in a full scale. And then it will be about 20,000 tons per year, or 30,000 tons, depending on the dry content. 20,000 ton will be with 30% dry matter content.
Thanks.
Eric, over here.
But what is the temperature of the return water, and what do you do with the excess heat?
The temperature of the return water will be maybe, I don't know exactly, but we calculate about 70 degrees Celsius.
What's the temperature of your HTC process?
It's around 200 degrees.
C?
Yeah, C in the reactor. So, and if we get excess heat that nobody can use, then we'll cool it off with the clean water that we have access to. Or there's a different way. We will just get rid of it, the excess heat, if there is no ways to use it at the power plant or at the wastewater treatment plant.
We've got one.
Yes,
One here, and then you're next. Jim.
Okay, sure. Eric, your Nobel Prize winning technology, is it a single technology or is it several items of technology, and is it all patented?
We have the Nobel Prize, the base of it, we cannot patent that. And we have patented our implementation, our reactor, and the combination of systems around it to make it this energy efficient. And we've patented this self-heating functionality with wet oxidation combined with this heat treating process that was awarded the Nobel Prize. That's called hydrothermal carbonization. So, but we have 4 patents and 2 more on the way.
Thank you.
If I Add, because you say that you need extra waste heat. Because the reason I ask you, anaerobic digestion, when you generate biogas, it's 55 to 40 methane and CO2 combination, as you know, and usually it is used for power generation, power needs for the facility. But you are saying this, it's a on and on. So basically, if it is a combined heat and power microturbine utilization, so you have waste heat already at your facility. So I don't know about your box, however, you can still use that part of the gas to dry your sludge, pelletize it, and so you can sell it as it is, right?
Yes. Our process to dry the sludge is after the heat treatment. It's very easy to dewater. So we dry it mechanically with filter presses. And it's a completely different material. It's very clay-like, so you can easily come up to 70-75%.
Eric, thank you very much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great stuff.